product that's based on the science of hydrogen melted or infused in water. It's very, very important to understand that the United States, although it is highly sophisticated and it has a lot of really amazing science behind the products that they produce, hydrogen water was never a product that the United States really got into. It was, in fact, a Japanese scientist, Dr. Shigeo Ota, that really made hydrogen research a major interest for the public and also the scientific world. And he was the one that published one of the first articles of explaining the amazing benefits that we can gain from hydrogen in our diet. It's quite interesting, and it's very, very important for all of us to understand that it is a new science. It's something that a lot of people just don't know yet, although it's something that everyone talks about, for example, in Japan. A lot of people here in the United States, it might be the first time to hear it, but be assured that we've been selling this product since 2007, and the research about hydrogen-enriched water has been begun early 2007 as well. And through that, we have seen many evidence of the benefits hydrogen water or hydrogen enriched water, or as we have created a new word, which is hydrogenized water, is doing for people. It's interesting how hydrogen in the gas form, which is the form that we have hydrogen in our product IZUMIO, is so powerful that we have various data showing how hydrogen can help fight against Alzheimer's, fight against cancer, fight against all kinds of illnesses that we unfortunately have to suffer from the various daily life choices that we make. Now, it's very, very important before we get into the details of IZUMIO to appreciate what it is to be healthy. Now, many of you, I understand, have been taking nutritional supplements. Many of you have at least seen many commercials out there about nutritional supplements and the health reality that we live in here in the United States and other parts of the world. As we all know, the health reality is not in a good situation. A lot of people are suffering from malnutrition, not only in the country where they're considered third world and developing countries. In the first world, the countries like the United States, Japan, many countries in the European nations, all of these countries are considered to be malnutrition. This is a new concept for a lot of people. A lot of people think being able to eat food, whether that's hamburgers, pizzas, steak, or mashed potatoes or not, whatnot, that malnutrition is about whether you can eat food that can fill you up your stomach. But the reality is, when you look around the world where poverty strives and people are struggling to survive every day, it's interesting. Very few of those people are actually suffering and dying from inability to fill their stomach. It's very interesting that these various places in Africa, many parts of South America and Southeast Asia, and some parts of Eastern Europe, these countries have their cassavas, they have their potatoes, they've got their rice, they've got their staple that provides them with the necessary energy to survive, at least to live. However, the problem that we face in these countries and in first world countries such as the United States, being parts of Europe, and also Japan and other parts of the world where it's considered to be developed, is the lack of nutrients. That's right. We are capable of filling our stomach, being satisfied with the food that we eat from the abundance of calories. However, we're not getting the nutrients that we need. There are several major causes of malnutrition in the reality that we live in. But the interesting thing is, besides these several different types of causes for malnutrition in the modern world, is there's another problem of taking too much of the things we don't need. We are living in a situation where we're not taking the necessary nutrients. At the same time, we also have a new modern day problem where we're taking too much of the things we don't need. Some of those things are beneficial in moderate amounts and calculated quantities, while others within these things that we're taking in, such as preservatives, additives, and GMOs, there are things that we're putting into our body that never should be going through our system. These are the two major problems that we, in living in the modern day, suffer in the United States, Japan, and other countries considered to be the first world. So let's take a look at malnutrition first, okay? Malnutrition in the modern day consists of several factors. Number one, globalization, okay? The problem that we face is we want our food to be cheap, okay? It's human nature. We don't want to pay money, or we want to pay less money for the things that we need to buy so that we can spend it elsewhere, or where we have to spend it elsewhere. We are in a capitalist run environment where prices drop, and in order to provide products and survive as a company that produces and distributes these products, they have to figure out ways to make the product cheaper. They have to produce these vegetables, fruits in a cheaper way than they could before. Globalization has led to transporting large amounts of foods from other countries to the United States and to Japan, for example. It's very interesting how if you go to any kind of grocery store, majority of the food that you buy, it's from outside of the country. It's kind of crazy to consider just several decades ago, we were eating food that was produced in our own state, our own city or the suburbs, or at the very least within the nation. Yet now, the food that we eat is consumed and produced, excuse me, produced in countries majority outside of the United States. Where do our avocados come from? Where do our spinach come from? Where do our bananas come from? Where do our apples come from? Where do our vegetables, chicken, beef, pork, where do they come from? That's right, South America, the Philippines, other parts of Africa. There are so many things that we eat that are no longer local. We all have to understand locally grown is actually very, very good, especially if you consider the amount of nutrients in local vegetables that we eat. So if you do have the opportunity to eat farmers market type vegetables, by the way, you never know what kind of farmers market. Just because they're in a selling vegetables outdoors in a tent doesn't mean that those vegetables aren't using herbicides and pesticides. Okay, it's just more local. That's all it is. So don't just think that going to the farmer's market is going to make you eat healthy. But anyway, we're not going to go into that right now. But what's very, very important to understand is that food is traveling a long distance until it gets to that grocery store. So what's the problem with that? It's great, isn't it? We get to have vegetables from exotic places in the world. What's so wrong with it? Well, very easy to answer that. When you look at vegetable in the supermarket, and a vegetable or fruit that a lot of people are used to seeing and are used to buying, possibly in the United States, at the very least, I buy a lot of it, is avocado. Okay, avocado is a very exotic fruit, fruit. I don't think it's a vegetable that we can buy in any grocery store any time of the year. And when you buy those, when you go to the supermarket to see what kind of vegetables they have, and you always see avocado there. But what color is this avocado? Have you noticed that avocado is green? A lot of people don't seem to realize that there's a problem here. Avocado, when it's ripe, when it's the tastiest, and when it's has the highest amount of nutrient, it's usually when the skin is already black and the surface is nice and soft. That's why a lot of us purchase green avocado at the supermarket, leave it on the counter in our kitchen, and wait several days until it turns black and it softens, right? Well, and a lot of people think that's ripening. But you have to realize that's not what ripening is. What's happening on your counter with your avocado, although it does become softer and it does become tastier and easier to eat, it's actually just rotting away on your countertop. It's just enzymes and that's eating away and making it seem as if it's ripe, but it's just in the process of decaying. Ripening is when you have all the nutrients absorbed from the roots go through the branches into the fruit, so much that the fruit realizes that it's time for it to drop and find its root, find its new home to create a new plant. You have to understand fruits are like the ovaries of women that are pregnant. It's got all the DNA information that's going to create the generations after generations. It's all about survival. It's the most important thing. And for it to expand, grow, it needs nutrients. That's why when you go out to the forest or when you go out to farms for apples and oranges, the best timing to remove it off its branch is when it's just about to fall off, where it's absorbed all the nutrients from the ground, from the dirt it came from, and it's ready to create new generations. That's when it has the highest amount of nutrients. That's when it's the apex of the nutrients in the food. However, if you pick that at that timing, by the time it gets to the supermarket, it's already rotten up. By the time it gets to your plate, it's non-existent. That's why it's very difficult to get fresh, high quality, nutrition rich vegetables and fruits at a low price. And that's why globalization requires picking these vegetables and fruits before it's ripe. It has to be picked when it's still green. Have you noticed tomatoes? They turn green on the shelves. Have you noticed bananas? They turn green on your countertop. This is the reality that we face. First problem, globalization. Unfortunate reality where the vegetables that we eat have to travel long distance. As a result, the vegetables that we're eating are not absorbing nutrients enough from the roots. And therefore, what's happening? The nutrient content in the food that we eat is dropping. This is a reality we have to understand and we have to accept, because it's very difficult for us to change that as an individual. But it's very, very powerful when you know what the reality is. So that's one problem. The problem of vegetables lacking in nutrients. Problem number two, it's a very sad reality. We ourselves are eating less and less vegetables year after year. Despite vegetables losing its nutrients year after year, comparing it with 1975 and the 1960s, the amount of nutrients have halved in our vegetables. That means you should be eating double the amount of vegetables than the people 40 years ago. Yet we're eating less than they are and getting less vegetable nutrients because of the globalization and lack of nutrients in the vegetables that we eat. I hope you're understanding how scary of environment we live in. Now that the nutrients gone in our vegetables, we should be eating more. Yet our daily life, the busy schedule that we have for ourselves, inability to cook every meal, what do we rely on? Yes, we rely on fast food. We rely on pre-packaged foods that we can just refrigerate for years and just microwave so that you can eat it anytime. This is the reality that we face. We face food that's no longer grown, but rather it's manufactured. Not in a farm, not grown in a farm, but in facilities. And this is the reality that we face. So, number one, lack of nutrients due to globalization and long distances vegetables need to travel, and as a result, having to pick it early is not absorbing enough vegetable nutrients necessary from the roots, from the soil. Number two, the amount of vegetables that we eat as individuals have been dropping annually, and Americans and Japanese alike are eating less vegetables. What are they eating? More meats, more fats, more carbohydrate, fast food. This is the reality that we face, or this is the reality we live in. It's crazy. I've taken my 13-year-old daughter to a daycare place just to have her an opportunity to talk with her, or not talk, but play with other kids around that age. The time that we took her there was about lunchtime. And it's interesting, these daycare places, they're very generous. They offer lunch. So I was interested what kind of food that they would provide. And boom, what did I find? Pizza, hamburger. This is the kind of food that they're feeding my children. This is kind of my child. This is the kind of food that they're feeding your children. This is the kind of food that we are living on. This is the kind of food that we are building our bodies based on. Go to a cafeteria, look at the food. You'll find brown, yellow, and red stuff. You will not find anything green. You will not find anything vegetable, fresh, because of all the hype about the vegetables not being cooked properly, or problems with the cost and having to cut down on educational costs, which is cutting down on the quality of the cafeteria food. And boom, what's happening? Our children are suffering more and more every single day. This is the reality we live in. And folks, have you noticed there are more and more individuals that are suffering from unexplainable illnesses and diseases 50, 60 years ago, but we call them lifestyle choice related diseases, illnesses. This is due to poor diet. This is due to stress. All these explanations that don't make sense and never would have made sense if we would have been eating properly. Third problem, our inability to cook the vegetables and foods properly. A lot of people still boil their vegetables. A lot of people eat vegetables raw. I go to a restaurant in the United States, it's very difficult to find cooked vegetables. And when I ask how these vegetables are cooked, they're usually boiled, or they usually are seared. What happens? Well, very simple. Vegetable nutrients are not strong with heat. If you heat it too much, these nutrients break apart, and they have that very little value for our body. At the same time, if you boil your vegetables, all the nutrients in the vegetables go into the water. Are you drinking that water? I doubt it. I think you're pouring it down the drain, or you're pouring it to your plants. They're getting better nutrients than you are, because you're left with just cellulose. The plant structure and all the nutrients inside it has been broken down. That's why you should be eating steamed vegetables. Steaming is the best way to cook your vegetables, because it doesn't go into extreme heat, just like on a frying pan. And at the same time, you're not losing the nutrients with the water, because it's just it's retaining it. We have microwave ovens. I love using microwave ovens, because you can heat your vegetables as if they were steamed inside your micro oven with just several punches of the button. But there's a lot of people that don't realize that. We are not cooking the food properly. It's not about eating. It's about how well it gets absorbed by the body. You can eat a lot of food, but remember, if you don't chew enough, if you don't cook it properly, I don't want to be nasty, especially this is time for a lot of people eating dinner, but it comes out the way you put it in. You see what I'm saying? Vegetables should be grounded by your teeth so that it has no shape anymore. It's now liquid form, and it gets absorbed. Bioavailability is crucial for healthy living. Bioavailability is crucial for healthy living. No matter how much you eat, if it doesn't go into your system and if it just gets flushed down the toilet, well, what benefit is that for you? So, lack of nutrients, lack of vegetables, inability to cook properly. These are three major problems. Excess amounts of consumption of fatty products and sugars. This is a reality. We all know it's a problem, because at least nearly half of the population in the United States are considered to be obese, or about to be obese. And at the same time, we have problems with preservatives, additives, and different kinds of chemicals just to keep the vegetables looking good so that you buy it. You don't want to buy vegetables that are soft and brown and possibly with bugs biting it, bite marks of bugs. But did you know that, or actually, what do you think? Do you want to eat vegetables that bugs don't even want to eat? I wouldn't. I'd rather eat vegetables and fruits and foods that animals and bugs love it. And I just hope that they keep the bugs out of my vegetables. But that's how important it is. Now, the major problem that we face today, which is related to IZUMIO, which is what we're talking about tonight, is that we are drinking ourselves to death. Americans are drinking themselves to death. Yes. What does that mean? No, it's not drinking and driving and getting into an accident and dying. No, that is also a problem. But alcohol and abuse, drinking alcohol is not what I'm talking about here. I am talking about the amount of sodas and juices and sports drinks that we are drinking every single day in our lives. Those are causing unexplainable illnesses, and it's amazing how we rather enjoy taste. Well, it's actually it's understandable. I mean, I prefer taste in what I drink, and people are veering off of drinking water or drinking unsweetened tea. And coffee is also good for you in small amounts as well. But rather, they love their Red Bulls, they love their Monster drinks, they love their 5-hour extra energy little vials. People love their Cokes, and they think that they're doing good for their body by drinking Diet Coke. Pepsi fans, same thing. Okay, Pepsi's not anything healthier than Coke. At the same time, you think fruit juices are good for you? Yeah, the nutrients in it are good, but there's a lot of sugar in there too. Sure, there you might choose unsweetened. I mean, not unsweetened, no additives of sugar, where you're using just natural fruits and vegetables. But you got to take a look at the pyramid of the foods that we should be taking. You shouldn't be taking all that amount of fruits and vegetables. That's why it blows my mind. People love all these like vegetable and fruit shakes. Vegetable shakes are great, but fruit shakes, you're not gonna be drinking just kale juices. You're gonna put in there some bananas, you're gonna put in there kiwis, you're gonna put your apples in there, you're gonna put your peaches in there, your blueberries. These are great, but you have to realize you're taking in a lot of sugar. Some of these sugars are considered to be good sugars compared to the sucrose and the artificial things that we take into our body. Yet that doesn't mean you can take a lot of it. You gotta stay away from all these fruit juices, thinking that they're good for you. I don't. I don't drink those fruit juices. I drink vegetable juices, yes, with a little bit of banana in it, with a little bit of blueberry in it to just give it a little bit of that sweet taste. But it's not good for you to be taking that because of all the sugar content in it. And unfortunately, unless you get it at these wonderful shops and that cost several dollars, at least $4 or $5 just to get a small size or regular size, they call it, cup of this thing, of this juice, you can't afford eating all this all the time. So you have to realize how we are Americans drinking themselves to death from all the juices, the sports drinks, all these sweetened and tasteful beverages, all these fruit juices and mixes and shakes that people think or they hype it up to be good for you. Once in a while, sure. But that's not what you should be taking because it's going to just sugar you up. And what do you get? Diabetes. You get gout. You get all kinds of trouble with your body as a result of excess consumption of calories. It's very interesting. People in the United States are taking 20% of their calorie from the drinks that they drink, not from the food that they eat. That is a huge percent from just something that's not going to satisfy your stomach. These are calories that just simply add on to your blood system. These are fats that build up in your body that doesn't give you any kind of satisfaction, and majority of these drinks are more harmful because of all the preservatives that are in there. At the same time, aluminum is just terrible for your body as well. And all of these aluminum canned drinks, how is it that you can be drinking all of this stuff? You have to realize that convenience is the worst enemy of humanity, yet it is unfortunately one of the biggest inventions or how should we call it, habits or strives that we have in humanity as well. we strive to make convenience, and that's why we get all kinds of amazing technology. But at the same time, convenience is one of the biggest cause of all the problems in our lives as well. So, what kind of water or what kind of beverage do you want to be putting into your body? The reality is you want to be putting in water. Water is extremely good for you, not only because it is what the body is made up of, pretty much 75%, but at the same time, it has many, many benefits. Water has the ability to prevent illnesses. Yeah, it's true. That's why when you're in a room, you want to make sure humidity in the room is set at a high percent rather than a low one, because when you have low humidity, that means the air is dry. When the air is dry, that means there's more dust in the air. When there's more dust in there, there's more bacteria, viruses, and illnesses floating around in the air, and that's what we breathe. When we breathe in and we're dehydrated, those illnesses stick to our throat. They go into our system, and that's how you get sick more easily. It's true. That's why humidity is very important. That's why a lot of people get sick on airplanes, because it's so dry in there. Not because there's just a lot of people. Of course, that's a very important factor as well, but because of the dryness. That's why you notice it's really kind of weird, but Japanese people wear masks all the time. Why? To keep their throat and their nose and all the major holes where all the viruses and illnesses come in stay moist, so that they can keep bacteria and viruses to come in. The mucus in our system also prevent all this as well. They fight against it, and that's thanks to the water content. For example, if you have a cut on your skin, if you have a cut where you are worried about infection, don't put Band-Aid on there. Band-Aid is good these days. It's improved a lot. And what's the Band-Aid doing? It's keeping it moist and preventing additional bacteria and airborne viruses to enter. So it's one good method. But the best way to stop the blood and the best way to make sure that you don't leave a scar is to run water on it. That's right. This is proven by doctors. My father is a neurosurgeon, and he has been always teaching me about illnesses and how viruses work. And at the same time, he has worked for humanitarian companies as well, dealing with places that have poor quality situations. And water is one of the most powerful ways to keep yourself from getting sick. And at the same time, it's very good if you have a cut, run it with a lot of water, and let the human body heal itself. So, and it's very interesting. That's water is a very, very powerful way to prevent scars from developing as well. It's poor treatment of the scar that produces results where you have scars that just last for years and years. Water is a powerful way to keep you healthy. Now, what kind of water do you want to put in your body? Well, you should be putting what's best for your body. You should be putting something that is actually going to be positive for you. But the reality is the water that we drink these days is actually doing more harm than benefit, but it's better to drink. That's why a lot of people don't drink tap water these days, not even in the first world developed countries. Unless you're in the suburbs, a lot of people don't drink water because of all the different chemicals the water itself has from all the regulations that the government placed. Now, it's very, very scary to believe. I mean, when you are cooking or when you're washing your dishes and when you are cleaning your bathtub, after it dries, everything is white. All the chlorine and all the chemicals just are there, precipitated on your counter. But all that is in your body too. All that gets accumulated in your system. Have you noticed that? Now, that's why a lot of people like to use filtered water, and people who have a little bit of more financial freedom, what do? They drink bottled water. They cook with bottled water. They brush their teeth with bottled water. They do everything with bottled water. which is a great choice. But you have to realize that even bottled water is not the best. And it costs a lot to have to do everything with bottled water. So, Naturally Plus is here to offer you a solution, a water that will hydrate you for the amount that you drink, but at the same time, it produces water in your body with the hydrogen that's inside it. At the same time, this hydrogen enriched water has the substance called hydrogen, which is a powerful antioxidant proven through hundreds of research data that you can search online and find in abundance, showing the benefits of it fighting against free radicals, especially hydroxyl radicals. Free radicals are considered to be produced by every single cell of the body. Just imagine you get to send in hundreds of millions of molecules of hydrogen to every single cell of your body with a small pouch specially designed to make results. That's what IZUMIO is all about. Today I want to show you some of the sources for the information in regards to IZUMIO. One of the first ones I want to share with you is this monthly magazine that we send out once a month at the beginning of the month. This is the July 2015 edition of Encore. I believe many of you have already downloaded and have already read through this. But in this Encore, we introduce a special doctor, a Nobel Prize nominee. His name is Dr. Garth Nicholson. He is our leading doctor who is in collaboration with the Sierra Research Company, and they have been doing many research in various fields, especially in molecular science. And he has gone and researched everything in regards to hydrogen that's been published thus far. He has studied all the important research data that Dr. Ota has produced over the years, and he has now become the leading doctor in the United States in hydrogenized water, hydrogen-enriched water. This is a doctor that we have collaboration with. We are working together to develop the hydrogen market, at the same time to develop hydrogen research so that you will all know the benefits it can offer. Dr. Nicholson will be participating in our convention that will be held in 2 weeks' time. We are looking forward to all of you being there. You will get to have a full 45-minute lecture on the power of hydrogen and hydrogen water, and he will share with you hundreds of facts proving the power that we as a company that sells things cannot say. As a doctor, he will be able to share with you scientific evidence on the power and benefits of hydrogen water. This is the best place that you can learn about hydrogen-enriched water. So those of you who are coming, good job. I'm glad that you made your decision. You are going to get the best information from the best source directly for a full 45 minutes. You get to learn about the power, all the scientific background information, the benefits of hydrogen-enriched water. He will be he will be the last speaker for the 24th. And he will be sharing with us that information 45 minutes. On the 25th, he will also provide a summarized short 15-minute version of the same information, which is great because you get the full lecture to broaden your knowledge. At the same time, you get a 15-minute compressed version that you yourself might be able to do the presentation as well. At least reference Dr. Nicholson in your presentation so that it gives some more credibility to the information that you share with your prospects, your guests. So remember, this is a great opportunity that's here for you. If you have not purchased your tickets to the event. If you have not decided, it's time for you to decide. There's only a few more weeks left for this opportunity. We want to see you there, okay? We look forward to your commitment, and we look forward to your hungriness in learning more. If you want to learn more about who this doctor is and what kind of a background he has, please download the July 2015 edition of Encore. We have email blasted this, and the leaders have been provided the link. They have shared it with the team. Please, leaders, don't just think of this as just some kind of magazine just out there for some reading time when you're waiting for the airplane or something like that. This is some substantial information that will help you develop your business. Please share share this information with people. We see too many people coming to us and say, "Hey, I don't know anything about this or that." Well, we have it all written, and we have been emphasizing in these magazines. Please teach your team members to utilize the tools that you have. Another source for you to learn about IZUMIO and to develop your understanding is our website. As many of you have already noticed, Naturally Plus's website has been updated on July 1st to a new design with IZUMIO information, with IZUMIO content in there. It has all kinds of information from the history of the science of hydrogen water. It contains information about what hydrogen is, how it benefits the body. We even have video of IZUMIO as well. So this is the product page where you can select IZUMIO. And if you select IZUMIO, you'll realize that there are several pages of intense content that will help you understand how amazing this product is. It'll teach you about how oxidation works. It talks about the benefits of water. You go to the next page and it'll talk about the power of hydrogen, the origin of the science behind hydrogen. These are information that you can use to help develop your story and your presentation as well. We even go through explaining about the technology behind producing IZUMIO, the product that we're here to offer. IZUMIO is a very powerful product that is an embodiment of all the science and research that has been going on. So the website is a great source of information, and if you go to the videos and brochures page on our website, which you can find it on the Media Center tab, Media Center, you'll be able to find a nice and short 2 minutes and 23-second video on IZUMIO with a scientist, a professor with Dr. Ota, who will share about how lipid levels in our blood system, basically the fat content, the cholesterol content in our blood system, drops with experiments of using hydrogen-enriched water in our diet. It's quite interesting. We've got scientific facts behind the information that we share. At the same time, we also have written information. I know a lot of people like to read information about things, and so we have a brochure just dedicated towards hydrogen-enriched water, IZUMIO. These are various sources that you can use to learn more about IZUMIO and the benefits of hydrogen water. Today, I would like to share with all of you about IZUMIO. I'm going to share with you the various features about IZUMIO that make it so unique and powerful. Now, I'm sorry, I have a little bit of trouble with my computer, so bear with me as I prepare the presentation for you to take a look at. But Naturally Plus's IZUMIO is a product that was originally designed and implemented into the market in 2014. Ever since 2014, we have gone through multiple versions of IZUMIO, improving its quality and value every time we went through the versions that we've produced. The exciting thing about that is that the IZUMIO that we produce is has never changed in price either. So as we continue to improve the product, as we go through the various versions, we continue to make the product better and better as it goes. Oh, hold on, folks. I am receiving. Okay. All right. Sorry about that. Just getting the trying to get the presentation going for you guys. Sorry about that. Okay, so the exciting thing about IZUMIO is that it has gone through multiple versions to increase its quality, and yet we've never changed the price of it at all. And the first version was introduced into the market in 2007. It was April. The second version was swiftly introduced at the end of 2007, where we have changed our production method to what we are using currently, and we're very, very excited. And then what we did after that is, on our next version, we actually increased the amount of IZUMIO, or hydrogen enriched water, in each pouch. Originally in 2007, IZUMIO only had 180 milliliters of hydrogen enriched water. However, after our second version, on our third version of IZUMIO, we increased the volume to 200 milliliters per pouch. Okay, it is just a 20 milliliter change, but the amount of hydrogen is just amazingly different. So you get more of the hydrogen for the same price. This is what makes it so exciting, that you get to take in a product where you get to take more hydrogen for the same price. Now, the exciting thing is, most recently, last year, we have also upgraded and created our new version of IZUMIO, where the amount of hydrogen within the water was increased as well. We call it parts per million. That's called ppm. Originally, we had 2.0 ppm at the very beginning, and we have upgraded it so that it has 2.6 ppm, parts per million. It basically means there's more hydrogen in the same amount of water. It's more concentrated. What's good about that is that for the same price, not only do you have more hydrogen, but there's more hydrogen even concentrated further into this same amount of water. Okay, so we have produced a product that delivers a large amount of hydrogen with a small amount of water. Because, I mean, yes, you can drink a lot of water, but too much water actually kills cells. It kills, it's not good for your health. That's why it's very important to realize that a lot of people, and especially in sports and all, people suggest drinking maybe 1.5 to 2 liters of water per day. Of course, it depends on where you live, etc., and what kind of lifestyle you have. But too much is too much. I've actually tried drinking a lot of water when I was doing cross country, but it was really bad. I felt really sick. But that's reality. So why not take in good water and get a lot of hydrogen out of the same amount? Especially when you have to pay for it, it's best when it's higher concentration in the same price. So as a result, IZUMIO has become the #1 selling hydrogen-enriched water in the world, with shares in Japan of 57% of the market. So what does that mean? It basically means that if there's 10 different, or if there's 100 different, if there's 10 different types of products out there, basically, if there's 10 people out there that's going to buy IZUMIO, that means at least 5 of those, close to 6 of those people, are buying Naturally Plus's IZUMIO. It basically means that 1 out of 2 individuals that buy hydrogen-enriched water are buying from Naturally Plus. This is a market share that's unprecedented, and we are very, very proud of being able to get into the market at the very beginning, to grasp it, and also be able to provide a product that really does what it is many testimonials attest to. So let's take the time to take a look at the 7 different features that make Naturally Plus's IZUMIO unique and different from the many products that are out there. So I have my my PowerPoint presentation ready. I am waiting for everyone to be able to see it now. I'm very sorry. I apologize for the trouble. So as we wait for the presentation to go through its final preparation, there are 7 major features about Naturally Plus's IZUMIO that makes it very unique and powerful. These 7 features are very important when you make a presentation and share this information with those around you, because these address a lot of the questions of what makes this product different from all the other similar or products that may produce the same kind of results. So let me see if you can actually see the presentation. All right, sorry folks, there we go, IZUMIO. So let's take a look at the 7 different features that make this product unique and powerful. The first one is what we just discussed, and the first one is the main aspect or feature that we tried concentrating on, which is concentration of the amount of hydrogen within every pouch. We have 2.6 parts per million for ppm for IZUMIO. That means it's approximately 2.6 milligrams of hydrogen per liter, which is extreme high concentration. I've never seen any other product like it with this kind of concentration. That means you get more hydrogen for the same amount of water. The second feature, due to the high amount of hydrogen, a powerful antioxidant, the oxidation reduction potential is extremely powerful. It's high, although it's a negative number. A negative 570 millivolts to negative 700 millivolts upon fill up. You have to understand that there is a range, but it's very important to also understand that when you compare the power of hydrogen, the ability for it to fight against oxidation is quite high. Just imagine, as you can see, acid rain is often considered to be in the positive 600 millivolt range. Tap water, still better than acid rain, of course, is in the 300 millivolt range. Bottled water, which we consider to be good for us, at least better than tap water, is still a positive 100 millivolts. So it actually contributes to oxidation rather than fight against it. IZUMIO has minus 570 to minus 700 millivolts. If you want an example, I would say an easy one for many people to relate to possibly are the cucumber packs. Have you ever used cucumber packs to benefit your facial expression? I don't know what it would be a polite and considerate way of expressing it, but cucumber packs are actually very, very powerful. They're very, very good. And also, those of you who are Japanese fermented soybeans called natto, these are 2 very, very good ways to help fight against oxidation. These also have a negative number. For example, natto is considered to have minus 50 to minus 60 millivolts, while cucumbers, for example, when you put it on your face, have a minus 120 millivolts. So it's actually very good. However, I mean, what's the problem with cucumbers? Who's going to eat it after you're done with it? Okay. Anyway, and preparing it is difficult, and it's only on the surface that you're providing that benefit to. Why not provide your body with something that's 6 times more powerful to every single cell of your body? That's what we're trying to provide through IZUMIO. The way we produce a product like this with such a high redox potential and also such a high concentration of hydrogen is through a technology that's been used when it comes to lung surgery, where there's the artificial lungs It's called deaeration process, where we remove oxygen and various types of gases from the water. As you can understand, water, unlike carbonated water that or carbonated drinks, they also have certain level of gases in it melted into the liquid. By removing these excess gases, we produce additional space for hydrogen to be dissolved into. The process of removing unwanted oxygen and various other gases through a membrane diffusion technology is the deaeration process. In the same process, we are also able to use the same membrane, of course, the same technology with a different size membrane that allows us to dissolve hydrogen into the water to the excess space produced. Using this technology, we are capable of pumping in a lot of hydrogen that's very difficult to do just by simple pressure rising and adding hydrogen. And that's how we are able to produce a product with such high concentration of hydrogen. Now, hydrogen is a very, very small molecule, smallest molecule in our chemistry chart. Basically, what that means is it has the ability to go through a lot of things, even things that we consider to be solid, things that water can't go through, it can go through. For example, plastic bottles or plastic bags. These are very poor material to use in order to trap the hydrogen within the trap hydrogen in the water so that you can consume it instead of having to consume it right after it's being produced, so that you can consume it anytime you want. Now the problem is there are two sources that's commonly used for bottling things that can be used to contain hydrogen. Number one is aluminum, and number two is glass. These are two ways to keep hydrogen gas inside so that you can consume it properly. Naturally Plus uses aluminum. However, we use a 4-layered patented aluminum pouching with a type of plastic on the inside so that the aluminum is not directly touching the water itself. The exciting thing about this 4-layered aluminum pouching or packaging is that it makes the product light. You're not using glass, which makes it heavy and difficult to transport and has a risk of breaking. And at the same time, we contain the important hydrogen in the water. Another feature that makes Naturally Plus's this packaging so exciting and so beneficial is the mouthpiece. The mouthpiece is plastic. The reason why we made it plastic instead of these aluminum rip-off openings is after you drink it, 200 milliliters is actually quite a lot of water to drink. It's difficult for especially elderly people to drink it all at once. That's why it's great that it's a plastic mouthpiece that you can close shut afterwards. But you'll notice that it's extremely hard to open because we had wanted to make sure that we can contain hydrogen. However, it is plastic, so it will hydrogen will diffuse out of it. But we were able to produce this technology to when it came to producing our 2.6 ppm hydrogen this time, where we've tested the speed of which hydrogen diffuses out of the plastic, and we have found out that not a significant amount actually gets diffused. So you can keep the IZUMIO in your refrigerator for several months, and the amount of hydrogen will not significantly change. And the great thing is we deliver our product directly to your address, and we deliver it on auto ship so that you always have a fresh batch with you. Another exciting thing that makes this the whole delivery system of IZUMIO so exciting is that you'll notice when the boxes come, the bottles or the pouches of IZUMIO are pointing down. It prevents from the gases to leak, and so it actually on the box itself it says there, don't make sure this way is up. That's how we make sure that the quality of hydrogen is good. And so the great thing about the technology that we're using, especially when we're talking about keeping the hydrogen in, you can open up the IZUMIO, pour it into a cup, leave it there for 24 hours, and the amount of hydrogen will not significantly be depleted out of it. And so we're very excited. Of course, we don't suggest that you pour it out and just leave it out there in the sun and the hot weather and let it to nature decay it. But we do suggest open it, drink it, close it tight, put it in a nice, dark, cool place, maybe a refrigerator, and come back and drink it. Keep it in your bag, keep it nice and cool, and you won't have to worry about the product being just regular water with all the hydrogen that gets depleted out of it. Another feature that makes IZUMIO so powerful and unique is that it has a pH of 7. It's neutral. It's not acidic. Maybe many of you have heard of alkaline water. These are considered to be beneficial as well for its alkalinity. However, there's a lot of research out there that recently has been especially shown that you really should be drinking water that's more neutral rather than alkaline. And that's why we wanted to make sure that we provide you with drinking water that you can drink every single day and replace every drink you want to with IZUMIO for a healthy way of living. Now, the reason why we're capable of keeping it at a neutral pH despite having a lot of hydrogen in it is because we have hydrogen gas in it. Alkaline water is ionized, or basically these are our hydrogen is not in the gas form, and which creates that the acidity. And that's the great thing about IZUMIO, is that it's in a gas form and it keeps the water neutral despite however high the concentration of it gets. Now, the importance about health is about consistently taking the product. It's not a one-night thing for you to regain health or maintain health. It's a daily habit that you have to maintain. And that's why it's very, very important that it's something you can continue. That's why we went with a taste of water rather than sweeten it up or giving it citrus taste or some kind of a soda pop kind of taste to it. We kept it the taste of nature because we love our body, at the very least, know what's best for our body. You get bored and tired of saying pineapple juice kind of taste or a fruity taste that you always drink every single day. Water is something we all drink and we never get tired of it. But depends on the water. Have you noticed pure water is a little bit tasteless compared to mineral water? It's because of the trace minerals in the water that gives it that rounded, soft touch on the lips and on the tongue, and gives it that slight sweetness when you drink water. That's the great thing about Naturally Plus's water, is that it is extracted from groundwater hundreds of feet deep, and as a result, we are capable of providing high quality water that's extremely clean, and the water is soft, very, very soft. You'll be amazed when you drink it. Oh my goodness, forget everything about the benefits of hydrogen and just enjoy the taste, and the touch on your tongue is just exciting. And what's this might be a personal thing, but the feeling of the water inside your body, it feels like it seeps to every single cell of your body. It's quite exciting. So those are the 7 features that make Naturally Plus's IZUMIO unique and powerful. Today is not a training for you to learn the scientific background of how how hydrogen water can really change your body. That is something that we want all of you to hear in person from the lectures by our doctors. And those of you who can't be there, please wait. It will be one of our corporate opportunities as well to record that and to be able to produce videos and material based on the lectures. And we are excited to be able to provide that to you in the near future. Thank you all very much for listening in to us in our presentation, 1-hour presentation. We're very, very happy to have all of you participate. I want to just remind you all, we have a great question from our affiliates. Yes, IZUMIO is produced, the water is produced in Japan, and we pull up the groundwater from 2 different places. In every batch, you won't have a mixture of these waters. You'd either have one batch that's made out of one source, or you would have another batch that's made out of another source. Now, this IZUMIO is based from Kumamoto Prefecture. That's one source. Kumamoto Prefecture is a prefecture in the island of Shikoku. No, not Shikoku. Sorry, I'm forgetting Japanese and Japanese. I'm very sorry. If there's someone, Kyushu. There we go. Kyushu Island, and it's a place where beautiful, serene countryside. Also, the other source of water is from the Tochigi Prefecture in central part of Japan as well. So these are the 2 sources of water. Another interesting fact, maybe many of you are interested in learning about, is that these batches of IZUMIO are all being tested for every batch is tested for radioactivity and any kind of radioactive material as well. So you don't have to worry about any of that. Especially, I feel like there are still some people who are worried about products produced in Japan, but every single product at Naturally Plus are being tested for that as well. I wonder if there's any other questions that we can answer for you guys. I guess that's pretty much how it is. All right, very good. We hope that you look forward to our presentation next week. The IZUMIO presentation next week will be the exact same presentation. This is just 2 different opportunities for people to learn about IZUMIO, not necessarily a series. Okay, so those of you who heard it today, it's going to be the same next week. Please make sure you invite others to also participate in these presentations again. Thank you so much for your time, and we hope to have you guys participate again. Oh, I think I just saw someone raise their hand. Okay, well, they pulled it back down. Well, thank you again. If you have questions, please feel free to contact us at customer service, and especially just feel free to contact me as well. Thank you all very much. Have a good night. Bye-bye.